Good morning. Welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. We are going to take a look at some pitching for today, be Tuesday, the 2nd of April. We have a 9-game main slate loaded with some weather questions, as you see. Even the DK lobby shows, according to our weather station. Definitely those 3 games. A couple of the early games also have some weather issues. Um, but these 3 games are pretty important, I guess, um, from a pitching standpoint. So it's going to be key to look into that weather as the day goes on. We're looking at highs in the upper 30s and low 40s in these 3 games. So uh, a lot of great pitching. Well, I shouldn't even say great pitching weather because the pitchers aren't going to be able to feel the ball as well. But hitting is really difficult when it's that cold and windy. So some interesting things we have to learn as the day goes on. These 3 games being the biggest um, because of the pitching options that we might want to use. Um, if you're new here, I take a first look at pitching for main slates. I focus mainly on DraftKings since that's where a majority of my play is. We will talk about FanDuel occasionally. Generally on FanDuel, I go with a pitcher pool about half the size as I do on DraftKings. Uh, Strikeouts are even more important on FanDuel. Length, quality start ability, very important over there. We don't really have that on DraftKings. We just want clean innings with some K potential. Obviously, wins matter. I would say they matter more on FanDuel as well. But let's take a look here at the pitching options. Going to give you a few guys that I'm considering, and then try to add some fades into our list here. And as always, my plays might adjust slightly throughout the day. If you want to get my most updated pitcher pool, you can join us at dfsarmy.com. Use promo code RAZ, R-A-Z, 10% off. But let's get started here. Now at the top, we have some names, right? Like Luis Castillo, Gallen, Bieber, Valdez, Logan Webb. Definitely some strong names to consider. The issue we have on this slate is the names are facing offenses that we generally don't want to pick on. I don't really want to pick on the Dodgers, especially with Webb on the road. Webb is generally a guy I want to use when he's at home. Luis Castillo against a Cleveland team that generally doesn't strike out a whole lot. He wasn't overly strong in his season debut, but he is pitching at home. So there's a bump there. I think I'm going to use Castillo, but he's probably going to be somewhat lighter as far as my exposures go. Don't think I'm going to get to Zach Gallen. I think Zach Gallen does have a solid K prop considering the matchup. Uh, Sitting at 5.5, pretty solid juice on the over. But I just don't know if I want to, pick on the Yankees right now. They're winning games. I know Gallen at home is generally a thing, but of all these spend up name pitchers, the 2 that I'm most likely to fade are going to be Webb and Gallen. I have to dig in more to this matchup just because I normally do love Gallen so much when he's at home, but this just might not be the spot. Bieber taking on a Seattle squad that strikes out plenty, coming off of what might be his best start of the season. It's hard to envision him, putting together a stronger start than he just did against Oakland. Uh, I don't really want to chase that, but there is such strikeout upside. Um, I believe he actually has the best K prop on the slate at 6.5 with juice on the over. So he does have the highest number on the main slate for us. So the upside's there. So we really have to go with him. But I wouldn't be shocked if Seattle's offense finds themselves in my top 12 stacks for GPP purposes. Big one is going to be Framber Valdez. Framber didn't look great against the Yankees. 6 walks is a bit extreme for a guy that usually racks up quality starts. But Toronto was obviously just no hit last night. Bichette status probably still up in the air. Uh, and traditionally, Toronto has been better against right-handed pitching than left. So I think we have to consider Framber Valdez in the spot. I think his K prop was 5.5. Um, Juice on the under, but he is a minus 155 favorite as of right now. So I think Valdez makes a ton of sense. Will people chase Blanco's performance last night, or will people look at Valdez's performance against the Yankees? Those are two factors that generally influence ownership on slates. So I'm not really sure what the public's going to do, but I am interested in Valdez just because I just don't think Toronto's in a great spot right now. Kind of scroll down a little bit. Um, the Dodgers going with an opener and a long man. The fact that Yarbrough as a long man is 8,200, priced higher than Brian Bayo, uh, takes him completely out of play. Darvish, I think, is certainly in play. A couple of solid starts. K's were back against San Francisco. St. Louis's offense did wake up last night, but Darvish is a minus 135 favorite. Does have a K prop of 6.5. Juice is slightly on the under. Um, and then Brian Bayo, probably going to be the most popular pitcher on this slate, DraftKings purposes. Uh, Only 2 strikeouts in that start against Seattle, who had been striking out a ton in that series. It's a little surprising. His K prop is 5.5. He is a minus 155 road favorite. We just saw Tanner Houck just absolutely dominate Oakland last night. I assume that Bayo is going to be the highest owned pitcher on this slate. I have not looked at any kind of projected ownership at all. So, uh, but he's the guy that I would expect. Not really interested in Brios. He was solid in his first start of the year against what people deem as a difficult Tampa Bay squad. I actually thought it was a pretty decent matchup for him. I'm just not going to use him against Houston, in Houston. So now we get to the bottom half, and we get guys that are interesting, but we have those weather situations. Assad against a weak Colorado squad, but weather. Adrian Hauser against a weaker Detroit lineup, but weather. Garrett Crochet not really going to interest me against Atlanta, even though he was spectacular in his season opening start, but that was against Detroit. Casey Mize, velocity was up, looked pretty decent spring wise, taking on a Mets squad that's just not swinging it. The only issue, weather again. And then Reynaldo Lopez won the 5th starter job with the Braves, taking on his former team, the White Sox, who have looked atrocious to begin the season, but again, weather situation. So, we have 4 names here that are very interesting as SP2s and GPPs because of the matchup, but do we have to limit our ownership because of weather? I'm hoping we don't have to, but it's tough to tell. Probably going to know more in about 4 to 5 hours. But once we get a clear idea, if games are expected to play, or if we're expected to see them get through 6 innings before rain hits or whatever, then I'm going to be very likely to play these pitchers, mixing and matching them as my SP2. I'm sure some lineups I'll just pair them together if I want to really take a dart, but um, yeah, I'm not gonna. Even though the weather's terrible, I'm not gonna be interested in Freeland. Just like I'm not interested in Crochet. Not really interested in Alex Wood. Vesey as the opener. Miles Mikolas, even though I don't think San Diego's all that dangerous, top to bottom. I just don't really want to play Miles Mikolas. Nestor Cortez against Arizona. I don't think we're going there. He wasn't super sharp in the opener. Did pick up some strikeouts, so there was some interesting numbers there, but I just like the way that this Arizona offense is playing. So I don't really feel the need to go to a guy like Nestor Cortez on this slate. Now, with that being said, maybe we do have to force in some Nestor if we lose multiple of these other pitchers around his price point. But I just don't really want to. If we lose a bunch of these pitchers, I may just be inclined to just go Bayo and up and just pair all these stronger pitchers. It's going to make things different. Biggest thing is a lot of the general public look to jam in some of these cheap pitchers because they want to play name bats. And that's something that I think we can take advantage of, which is why I generally concentrate my ownership, especially at SP1, at the top with some of these guys. Uh, and I'm not afraid to pair guys pitching against each other in lineups. So Castillo and Bieber, they'll probably be in a couple lineups together. I'm not. Wins are so tough to come by for starting pitchers. I'm not really worried about the fact that only one of them could get the W on the slate. So there's a couple little tidbits adding in, but yeah, this was the first look at pitching options. Uh, Sorry, I couldn't be a little more definitive. We just have so much weather to worry about in spots where we want to use pitching. So pay attention to all updates wherever you get your weather updates for MLB. Uh, Again, that's what we got for you today. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell to get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you enjoy what I bring to you, you want access to my content, other coaches, cheat sheets, Discord, etc. There'll be links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, it's RAZ, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.